Netflix, you have done it again. You have done it again. You have made another movie that has made me tune in. When I clicked in, I'm gonna be honest, I thought it was gonna be like When They See Us, but as you know in watching this video, it is nothing like that documentary series.
Bitch, I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Cause bitch, I got problems on problems on problems on problems.
Round up your purchases to the nearest dollar. Donating the change to Kids Like This charity.
On problems, I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling.
If you're watching now, before we get started, make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you tune in because you'll get more videos like this on a daily basis. So we jump right into it. In American Son, I'm going to say in my overall review was a great movie. I'm not going to give it away right now, but I'm going to say it was a great movie. When I first clicked into it, after watching When They See Us on Netflix, I was pretty intrigued. I'm like, what's another thing that they could come up with, something else that they could jump into that can actually keep me engaged or whatnot. But they definitely did it with this TV show. Definitely did. The black mom is in a police station. She had an argument with her son. The son took off in a Lexus and could not be found. She goes to the police station. She's like, can you file a missing persons report? But they're like, it has to be a 48-hour window for us to file a missing persons report. There's a white rookie cop. He's really not doing a good job with tending to her feelings or tending to her emotions. But he keeps saying, like, I'm sorry. I understand what you're going through. I understand what you feel. I understand how things are happening. And she's trying to bear with him, but then she breaks out and she says, well, how can you understand? How can you understand what I'm going through when you have no black children? These are not things that you have to talk to your black child about being stopped by a cop. So at this point, you're like, okay, I already know where this is going. 3 black men in the car, stopped by a white cop. The son probably dead. All the kids probably dead. All we do know is a kid got shot. We know this at this point. We like, damn, somebody gonna die, because that's just what the narrative is in life, in society right now, and it sucks, but it is what it is, The cop then suggests that the wife go get some water, and he starts telling her the history of the building, and she's listening, but she's not really trying to be too intrigued. And he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. This is an old monument. You would like it. There's 2 separate water fountains, so you could choose from whichever one. So he says to her, you can choose from whichever one you want to drink from, not knowing that those water fountains were segregated. So he's kind of still flirting with the race area and stuff like that, and it's kind of messing up the tension between the mother and the cop to kind of keep her calm. He starts asking questions like, does your son have any facial features, tattoos, gold teeth, He starts to say, are there any distinctive markings on his body or things of that nature? And she starts to say little things like, yeah, he doesn't have this, he doesn't have that, he doesn't have this, he doesn't have that. And the cop then asks, like, does he have any scars? She says, yes, he has a scar on his stomach. And he's like, how did he get that? And she's like, why does it matter how he got these scars if that's not helping me find my son? And that's something that we deal with nowadays often. It's like you ask questions in regards of, why did I get the scar? What does that have to do with the situation at hand? Which got the mother really tense. So I don't know who my son is. We had an argument. We do know that he was stopped by a police officer. We do know that there was 3 black men in a white urban community that he had got stopped at. Why haven't I heard anything? Why haven't I heard no details? Where's the main officer? Where's the big homie officer? Where is he at? Why is he not here talking to me? Why are you here talking to me? The cop kept trying to work with him. She walks off. She gets the water. And then the husband shows up. But the husband shows up. The white cop then starts to say everything to the husband. But you guys don't know, the husband is white. So the white cop is like, yeah, this be this. Yeah, she's over-exaggerating. She's too much. She's too much into her feelings. Yeah, I'm so glad you showed up. It was 3 black guys in the car. You know how that goes. And he's throwing little subliminal things. Little things that's kind of like hitting it on the head that you can tell that he hasn't dealt with a black person or he's just racist. It's either or. It's either or. You don't play around with people's emotions or mental at this point, especially when a black woman can't find her black son in white America. He starts to spill all the beans to the husband not knowing that the husband is the husband. The husband walks in with a badge, a nice suit on, and he's a FBI cop. By him being an FBI agent, he spills everything. The wife then comes back around the corner. The cop then says, yes, this is the wife right here, not knowing that's the husband. Big twist, big twist. Caught me off guard, caught me by surprise. I was just like, whoa, cool. The husband kind of seems off about his son. Although his son is black, you kind of could tell, like, I didn't really want his name to be Jamal. I really didn't want him to have braids. I didn't want him to have I didn't want him to have black friends. I want him to survive in white America as if he wasn't black, as if he wasn't white, as if he was no color, which is not going to be possible in the world, because we do know that people do throw on this persona of skin color, whether you want to believe it or not. That's just how life is really working nowadays for most people of color. The husband did think that his son was okay. He thought that his son could get by in white America. He thought his son wouldn't have to worry about it if he didn't hang out with other black people. He then goes to say, well, can you blame a woman if she clutches her purse when a black man walks by her? Kind of flirting on he's kind of racist too, but you have a black wife and you married her, but you had a kid. Doesn't make sense to me neither. Does it to you? Okay. As you keep going, you're watching this show and you're like, damn, like, I already know where it's going. I already know how it's going to happen. I already know something racial is going to happen. Some racist car is going to be pulled. Some black kids are going to get killed. End of story. But that's not actually how it goes at all, So while I'm watching this and I'm getting emotionally involved because it's dealing with me, it's dealing with my issues. It's kind of like, this is something that I have to deal with on a daily basis. Like when I walk outside, you never know how it's going to be when I deal with a cop. You never know how it's going to be when I deal with any law enforcement. You never know how it is going to be with you if you have a person of color, if you have a husband of color, a child of color. You never know what you could deal with. And people of white America wouldn't understand this because these are not the conversations that you have to have with your children about how to interact with police officers. You don't have to talk to your child like, keep your hands on the wheel, put your hands on the dashboard, put your hands on the top of the car. You don't have to have those conversations with your child because they're Caucasian. The probability of them getting killed or the probability of them getting shot at and stuff like that is much, much less than that of a black person. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's much less. And we do know that it's more common and more consistent among the African-American community. The victimhood cycle that I wanted to talk about with this, that it portrayed, is that black people dress in these, African-Americans dress in the baggy, the braids, the jewelry, the gold teeth and stuff like that for identity crisis, for personal revelation, kind of showing what they want to be or what they want to be perceived at, because behind all the exterior they actually just skip. In the show, they really made sure that they portrayed that very, very well, pushing that out, saying that, more so when you see a black person responding in a negative manner and asserting their rights, speaking black power, speaking Black Lives Matter, it's more because they're afraid of the possible outcome that could come from the situation at hand. More so that they're lashing out because of their things that they're worried about, which is something I cannot knock at all. I can understand it to a T because, I am black. I might not be over the top and stuff like that, but if I was to be stopped by a police officer, I do know my rights. I do know what's going on. I do want to know why I'm being stopped. I don't want to be asked a million questions before I can actually, know what's going on. I am going to want to know, like, why did you stop me? Okay, you want my information, you want my name and stuff like that, I'll comply. But work with me, you know what I mean? Like, it's an uncomfortable situation. And you should know with society and psychologically, as you being the police officer, you should know you should kind of work with me because I know what could possibly be the outcome of any situation like this. Telling a black person to relax under the circumstances that, police are involved or their loved ones are involved is pretty tough, because it's like, how can you tell me to relax when you have a gun, when you are a person of power? How can you keep telling me to relax when I don't know the possible outcome of what's going on? Of course, I shouldn't be loud, arrogant, ghetto in some senses, that how people use their words. But of course, it's tough, but relax is just not the word that I think we should use. Relax is not something that I think can be understood at that time and point, especially when you're going through so much. You don't know how anything could play out, but relax shouldn't be it. No matter how strong or how tough a black man might look on the outside, me, I work out all the time. I know that if, in the face of law enforcement, I would be perceived as a threat. I'm physically fit. I am combative. I am intelligent. I am argumentative. I have all of these attributes that I can cast out there that'll make me seem like a threat, you know. But no matter how much you see, on the inside with me personally, I do worry. I'm not gonna be, you know, Superman and Kryptonite and act like, you know, I'm not scared for my life if I was to come across law enforcement, whether I'm in a car, whether I'm walking or not. Like, you know, my mindset is if a cop stops me, my hand is going out the window. I'm putting my hands out the window and gonna say, put your hands back in the car. No. I'm putting both my hands out the window. I want you to see every single step. I'm gonna move like a robot if a cop stops me. I just want you to know what I'm doing. I don't want to move no sudden. And it might seem like I'm being a jackass, but I'm not playing no games. You can play those games. I'm not playing those games. You know what I mean? So my exterior could be so prominent. It can look such a way that, you know, it's threatening to that of a police officer, which I don't understand. But I don't want to take that chance. I don't want to take that type of title on. The world somehow emotionally humbles us as us being an African community, because it's like, okay, you have equal rights, okay, you know, you can go to school, you can graduate degrees, okay, but no matter how much you do, it kind of still just won't be enough. It kind of still just won't matter. It kind of still doesn't get you over that hump that you oh so dear feel like you need, that glass ceiling that's there for the men and the women. It feels like, you know, the same thing, like, you know, I could have the same credentials as a white man in corporate America and I might not get the job just because that's just how it is. You know, that nervousness of driving through the South, worrying about, you know, if you're going to be stopped by a racist cop, or you're going to be stopped by one of the Nazi hoods, or if you're going to be stopped by, you got to stop to get gas from a station that, you know, isn't as urban or isn't as industrialized as the rest of America. You know, you have to fear for those things. The conversations that you would have with a young white child compared to the conversations that you would have with a young black child is two totally different conversations. One thing about those conversations, you would never have to express to that white child about how to deal with police officers, but you would have to express to that black child about how to deal with police officers. These are things that you have to understand that it's so complicated, so complex. You know what I mean? You could talk to the white kid, you could be like, you know, you're going to be great, you're going to go to college, you're going to have this, you're going to have that. You have to talk to that black child and have to explain to them, you know, why the Eric Gardners, why the Tamir Rices, you know, why the Castros, like why you have to go through these things? Why do you have to experience these things? Why are these people dying at such a vast rate? Why is police officers being acquitted from deaths, beatings, you know, things that are just unremarkably just not making sense whatsoever. The sucky part is that when you get stopped by a police officer nowadays, you know, people say, you know, you shouldn't be as entitled to your opinion, you shouldn't be as engaged into your emotions, you shouldn't try to be an uppity black person and profess your rights. But it's like, if we don't do that, our last line of defense is a cell phone. We have to record what's going on. We have to show what's going on because we're afraid that we might die. Simple and short. You know, if you're watching this and you're not a person of color, you are not afraid that you're going to die because you're white. But if I get stopped, I'm going to be petrified that I'm going to die. I'm going to be petrified that I might get shot at, I might be injured, I might get beaten, all for the strength of a broken taillight. Why should you have to pull out your gun for a broken taillight? Why should you have to pull out your gun because, you know, you're concerned about my driving? Why is your gun your first resort? Why not talk to me like a human being? Because we both are human. This is because of my skin color that makes you uncomfortable. This is what this movie is really projecting. It's really showing. Like, it's like, it shows the hardship of how it is to be black, but it also shows the hardship of how it is to perceive black people as being white, which is an amazing job how they did with the movie. Being black, I'm gonna be honest, is just something that a white person would never understand unless they study that, you know, the situation. You can't understand my hardship. You can't understand what I'm going through if you've never been it. You know, you can try to, but if you never really take the time to understand and listen to it like you would a social studies, like a mathematics, like a calculus, stuff like that, you really won't understand me as a person. What I don't understand is, how are you a police officer, but you're fearing for your life when you're stopping people, when you're speaking to people, when you're pulling people over? How are you fearing for your life when you got a bulletproof vest on, you have a gun, you have a baton, you have mace, you have a taser, you have handcuffs? If you're still afraid as a police officer, you have all of those things, I think you shouldn't be a cop. I think that's just not the job for you. I just think you should be something else. Maybe, you know, you could fight for somewhere else, but you should not be a police officer in the United States of America. If you feel threatened and you have all of these, you know, attributes compared to somebody that's just stopping at a traffic light, or somebody that's just stopping to try to give a ticket, it just doesn't make sense to me. People don't understand that what a black person goes through, what African Americans go through, is the first world psychological crisis. These are things that we have to worry about when we wake up every morning, when we walk outside. These are things that we have to possibly deal with. Understand, the first world psychological crisis. First world, because these are things that's like, oh my God, you know, these are conversations I'm going to have with my kids' kids, that I'm going to have with my cousins. These are conversations that you won't have to have if you're not of this ethnicity, if you're not of this understanding. Last but not least, why do I need to know how to survive in America as a black man, rather than living my life as a free man? Freeing the understanding that I am mentally chained by what I'm required to do and what I'm required not to do. Being mentally chained, being emotionally chained in America, I might not be shackled, I might not be a slave, but scaring my mind into thinking that I could die off the encounter of a police officer, off the encounter of blue, is the scariest thing you can know. It was a great movie. A great lesson learned. I think it's a watch. If you like this video, like, comment. Make sure you subscribe. Alright? Hope you guys have a blessed one.